Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another, let me start that again. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday webinar in the Hub. We've been having a couple of technical problems here, but hopefully we're all sorted now and coming at you live in the Hub. Today, I'm joined by Cecilia Nobre, and to be honest, I'm having a bit of a fangirl moment because I think Cecilia is just such an incredible educator. I don't know, Cecilia, you have such passion for ELT, and obviously, you mentioned that you didn't get these scholarships immediately, but it just seems like whatever you put your mind to, you achieve your goals, and I think that's just so inspiring for everyone. And you've been in ELT not that long, really, in terms of like on my radar, but ever since you've been there, it's just been like, Cecilia Nobre, she's doing this, she's doing this. Like, you're such an inspiration, I think, to educators.
Thank you so much, Teresa.
So now congratulations on the PhD scholarship. So you'll be studying linguistics at Warwick.
Applied linguistics at Warwick, yes. Going back to Warwick.
Yeah, and I mean, you already got an MA scholarship as well, so you know what you're talking about in terms of getting scholarships.
Yeah,
fantastic. So I'll pass over to you for your tips to maximize your chances of getting a PhD scholarship.
Thank you, Teresa. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction, Teresa, and for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. So today I'm going to briefly talk about, give you some tips on how to get a PhD scholarship. As we've mentioned before, I'm going back to the University of Warwick in the UK. I did my MA there with the Hornby Scholarship by the British Council and the Hornby Trust. And I'm extremely excited to go back to Warwick because I know basically everyone there. So, and I hope you find this talk inspiring, and you can get more encouraged to apply, because the applications will start very soon, usually in November, December. So you have some time to get prepared. So just a few things that I'm planning to talk about today. Okay, the mistakes that I've made, that I made in the previous years. I made lots of mistakes. That's why this is my third year applying. And I will share some of the mistakes that I made, how to get prepared, where you can search for scholarships, and I'm going to talk about my course. And then if we have some questions, we can have a Q&A session, 10, 15 minutes, okay? Right, so just a brief introduction. I had longer hair in this picture. I had my hair cut last month. So I'm 42 years old. I'm currently in Turkey, going to the UK next month. I've been a teacher for more than 20 years. So it's actually not recent, Teresa. You said that I've been in this journey for a while. So altogether, I've been awarded 4 scholarships, 1 for my master's and 3 for my PhD. And the PhD scholarships that I have been awarded were the Midlands, ESRC from the UK, the UNITA, it's a university in Australia, and Salis DCU, the Dublin City University in Ireland. But I have received more than 20 rejections plus, in 3 years. So I'm going to talk about this experience. Okay, these are my letters of offer, and I'm very proud to show them. And if you want to, I don't know if we have a few attendees there, if you want to introduce yourself, why are you watching this talk? Where are you based? Have you applied for PhD scholarships before? If so, how many times? What's your field? Are you all from ELT, applied linguistics, or are you trying to do something a little bit different? And what is your biggest challenge when it comes to applications? So Teresa is going to tell me if there are any answers there.
Yep, my technical glitches are continuing this morning, and now Facebook isn't playing friendly.
Oh dear.
We are definitely live, but I can't seem to comment. I know Hugh is watching, and he's based in Barcelona. I don't know whether he's interested in a PhD. He is someone who has recently joined ELT. And my apologies. I think I thought you were more recent, just because you suddenly seem to spring up. Maybe it was when I saw you at Innovate or something, and I was like, wow.
We met at Innovate, yes. Yeah.
And then you just were always there, and I was like, this is another one of those people who's just suddenly come into the world of ELT and, full force, full of enthusiasm and dedication.
I got more active once I went to Warwick. I did get more active and more interested in attending the events. So I think maybe that's why. Yeah, that's why. Mm-hmm. So do we have any comments there, Teresa?
Yep, so Hugh has commented he's a newbie ELT in Barcelona, recent CELTA graduate, but unlikely to pursue additional academic accreditation. Just popping in to keep in touch and see what I can learn.
Excellent. Okay, great. So let me share the main documents. Okay, so overall, you will need, if you're planning to apply for a PhD scholarship, you will need these documents. Okay. You will need a research proposal, especially in the field of applied linguistics, because you need to come up with your own research idea, and then you need to draft a proposal. Okay, so that's the main document, I would say. You will also need a personal statement where you will write about your qualifications, your accomplishments, your experience, but the personal statement should not be a copy of your CV, okay? Many applicants just write what they have written on their CV, and it's not right. You're going to, I'm going to talk about personal statements, but briefly, you have to highlight your why you are the ideal candidate for that particular place, for that university or for that program. So you will need to draft a personal statement. You also need to submit a CV as well, an academic CV. I didn't have an academic CV, to be honest. I designed one when I was applying, because my CV was just a general teacher trainer CV. So it is a little bit different when you apply for a master's or a PhD. So you have to add other things as well. If you are, I hate this word, but if you are a non-native English speaker, you will have to prove your English proficiency. So usually they ask for the IELTS or a TOEFL or even Cambridge exam. So you need to check which English proficiency tests that your program requires. Okay, I submitted the IELTS, for example. Depending on the university, you need 2 or 3 reference letters from past employers, or from, if you have done your MA, from your former supervisor, or a professor that really knows you. And I said 3 because some universities require 3. For example, Cambridge and Oxford, they ask for 3. But I think the other ones that I applied for, they require two reference letters. Okay, so these are the main ones. Of course, you may need others, but I would say that if you have these documents, these 6 documents ready, or if you are planning to draft them, you are good to go. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course, yes, please.
So, I mean, you mentioned about the personal statement being why are you the ideal candidate for this university? Is that the only one of those documents that you would reword and rephrase specifically to each scholarship?
To each scholarship,
like
absolutely.
The research proposal could be the same for
as
each
well.
university.
Yes, you have to tailor those 2 documents to each university. But I would say it doesn't have to be completely different, right? For example, let me see here, especially according to the word count as well, some universities may allow you to write a 2,500 personal research proposal, but others would ask you to write 1,000 words. So so then you will have to adapt. But I would say, yes, you have to definitely personalize these documents, but keeping the core message. You know, you can keep the core message and then just do some tweaks for each program. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the mistakes that I made. I'm just selecting 3, but there are more than that. In the previous years, I didn't write my research proposal or the personal statement months in advance, and this was a huge mistake. Why? Because these are the most time-consuming documents that you will write, and you're going to write your first draft and the second draft and the third draft. It's almost endless. It's an endless process. So the more time you have, the more time you will enhance your document. So I would say, for instance, if the applications open in December, this is the time now, August, September, to start writing your research proposal and personal statements. Okay. Yeah, and that was a huge mistake I made before, because I think last year I wrote my research proposal a month before the opening of the application. So this is very, very short. You're going to, because you have to, ideally, if you have someone to read your proposal and proofread and give you some feedback, give you some ideas. So you're going to add new ideas, new information all the time. And 1 month is just not enough. So I would say write your research proposal and personal statements months in advance, 4 months, 5 months in advance, if you can. Okay. Yes, another mistake that I made was not giving enough importance to connect with potential supervisors. And what do I mean by that? So once you have decided where you're going to apply for example, Warwick, Oxford, Edinburgh University, and so on, you need to look for a potential supervisor who would be interested in supporting your application, right? This is the ideal scenario. And they can be really, really helpful. If you find a helpful one, a nice potential supervisor, they can be fantastic. And the previous years, I didn't focus on that. As I said, I didn't give enough importance, and I think it made a difference on my applications because I didn't have their feedback. And this year, I got in touch with all potential supervisors in advance. I sent them an email, presented my proposal, my ideas, and some of them replied, some of them ignored, and that's normal. But I had a few who were really, really helpful. They read my proposals, they gave feedback. They read my second draft and gave feedback again. You know, they met me on Zoom like twice to talk about my proposal. So that was fantastic. And I thought, oh my God, I wish I had done that, you know, before, because perhaps, you know, who knows what would have happened. So yes, don't overlook this connection with potential supervisors. And you will find your potential supervisors on the university's websites. You go to the academic staff and see which ones, which research interests they have, see if they match with yours, and just send a friendly email to them and see if they are interested. Okay, so this is a good tip for you. And another tip in terms of the sections in the research proposal, in the past, in the previous years, I downplay the impact of the methodology section and the contribution section in the research proposals. And in my experience, from my point of view, I think that these two sections are the most important. You really have to write a solid methodology, how you're going to analyze data, how you're going to collect data, your participants, how you're going to, what kind of recruitment are you going to conduct. So the methodology part is really important, and so is the contribution. What kind of impact do you foresee from your research? How is your research, your project, going to contribute to the knowledge and the community? So this is very, very important. And if you have to shorten your proposal, make sure that at least these two sections are very well written. Don't shorten so much from these two sections, but I would say you can shorten from the literature review or the introduction, for example. I remember one of my research proposals, I wrote like just a paragraph for the introduction, and then I focused on the other sections. Okay, so yes, make sure your methodology and contribution to knowledge is very strong. I don't know if you have any questions in the.
Nothing as yet. We've had Avna pop up. She says, such a practical topic. Similarly to Hugh, she's not looking into doing a PhD, but she's interested in knowing more about the process. And
yeah,
I'm completely unfamiliar with the process as well. So this is really eye-opening, and yeah, it's really interesting to hear how people get to this stage in their careers.
The process is quite, I'd say, quite crazy, because you start months before the applications actually open, and then you have to write the drafts and wait for the results. So I would say, for instance, my process started October last year and just finished in April, May. So it is almost a year process from from the time you start writing and organizing your ideas until you receive the results, because yeah, and it's quite nerve-wracking because you don't know what to do in the meantime. Yeah, so you need to get ready. You need to get ready. So how can you get prepared? These are just some general tips, but of course it depends on each university. At least, I would say at least 3 months before the deadline. Once you have the university's deadlines, try to start at least 3 months in advance, because then you will have some time to work on your proposal, your statement, and that should be okay. But if you can, of course, you should start even earlier than that, 6 months, 5 months. Okay. The deadlines are usually, I'm talking about universities in Europe and UK, right? So the deadlines are usually in, some of them are in late December, some of them January, mid-January, late January, and a few of them in February. So I would say usually January is the deadline. So you need to get prepared before. Another tip is to read recent papers in your area, in your field, within the past 10 years, because I know that there is a lot of excellent seminal work from writers, but make sure that you read recent papers. They want to know if you are updated to what's happening in your field at the moment. Okay. As I've mentioned before, contact potential supervisors as soon as possible. Why? Because they are busy people. We are all busy people. They might not answer you immediately. They might answer you, if they do, they might answer you a week before you send them an email, 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, if you're lucky, okay? If you're lucky. Some of them will not answer you, and that's okay. So that's why you should contact them as soon as possible. A tip for you, December and January, they are very difficult months to get anything from these academics, because it's the end of the year. Some of them are going on holidays. They are on their annual leaves. So if you decide to contact them towards the end of the year, this could be a huge problem. You may not hear from them. So the sooner, the better. And I would also suggest that you should contact more than one potential supervisors from the same university. Why? Because if you don't get a response from one, you may get a response from the other. So you don't put your eggs all in one basket, so you have some options. I've done that a few times, I think, with all the programs, and that usually works, because usually one of them is kind of busier, they have other things happening than the other, and the other supervisor would answer you. Okay, so try to contact 2 or 3 potential supervisors from the same university. And another tip is it's to keep you organized. And I would suggest that you design a spreadsheet on Google Sheet, or a spreadsheet, right? Or Excel. I don't like Excel, so I don't use it. I like using Google Sheet. So you add all the information there. For example, the university, the program, the country you are applying. Do you want to apply for universities in the UK only, or in other countries? I apply for universities like everywhere, the UK, Australia. I was thinking of applying for universities in New Zealand as well. While I was waiting for my results, I was getting in touch with professors in New Zealand, and I thought, oh my God, New Zealand is so far, but let's see. Yes, write all the information in these spreadsheets and keep checking it, okay? The names of the potential supervisors that you contacted, their email address, deadlines, very important information. Keep the deadlines very visible so you don't miss them. And the status of your application. Have you, for example, have you sent your proposal to your potential supervisors, or have you submitted already? There's only maybe you just need to check two documents. So are there any documents pending or things like that? So make sure that you have this this spreadsheet organized. Any questions so far? Do you have any questions, Teresa?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, this may be a silly question, but how did you find out about what scholarships are available? Is it done through the university, or
I would talk
are there
about
scholarships?
that. I will talk about that now. How to find, yes. There you go. Yes, so how can you find scholarships? If you look for it in the right places, you can find lots, okay? You can find lots, even though we know that the number is limited, but you can still find it, okay? In my opinion, the best websites are findphd.co.uk and jobs.ac.uk. I know you can find jobs as well, but there is a section there only for PhDs. So you can find like PhDs and studentships. So you check there. They are great websites and they are always updated. I think they update their opportunities on a daily basis. So you should check them every day. Of course, you can also use Google. Don't overlook the power of Google. Okay, so using the correct keywords, you can find some excellent scholarships. For example, so first you're going to type your field, for example, or education or applied linguistics or civil engineering, and then international, perhaps, okay, international studentships or scholarships. And then these are some keywords you can add. For example, funding, okay, the research degree, studentships, scholarships. So for instance, you can type biotechnology, PhD, studentships, UK, the country, okay, and you will see the websites that come up on the first and I would say first, second, and third page on Google. So you may want to Google PhD, applied linguistics, scholarships, UK. So you focus on the universities in the UK. This will give you lots of websites and links to click, and then you just check the university and search. Okay. Twitter is another great source. If you follow some accounts there, for example, this one, scholarships, PPS. They're always posting scholarships on different fields. But I've noticed that some professors, some academics, they also share some scholarship positions from their own university. So they usually say, I'm delighted to announce that our university has opened the program. So I noticed that. So perhaps you want to try the word delighted, PhD, doctoral program. And then you will see some offers, okay? Studentships and the field. I've done that, and it's great. Again, using the hashtags, you can use them as hashtags, right? Hashtag delighted, hashtag PhD, hashtag doctoral program. Then your search will be open to different countries, but you can also focus on specific countries if you want to go to the US or UK or Australia. You just type the country there. Did I answer your question, Teresa?
I sometimes see as well. Yeah, that was lots of great ideas. Talking about Twitter, I sometimes see as well the hashtag academic life, academic Twitter. People kind of posting academic writing as well.
Yes, but these are usually but these are usually like reflections or opinions, right? Which is great. It's great to know what's going on. But if you want to look for scholarships, you have to be more specific. In terms of the hashtags, I would say that these hashtags are they are more useful for you. Okay, so now I'm going to, can I talk about my course? So because of my experience and my desire to help other applicants, because I know how much I have suffered and throughout these 3 years of applying, I designed a course that will help PhD applicants, not masters. I'm so sorry. I have been contacted by master's applicants. This is not for master's degree because I'm talking about my experience this year, especially this year. Maybe in the future I can create one for master's degrees, but this is for this is a self-paced course. Okay, so you can do it at your own pace, and hopefully I think this will help you especially plan and structure your application processes more efficiently without wasting time, because this was one of my problems in the previous years, Teresa. Everything I did was very random. There were no strategies. I had no strategies whatsoever, and it was very messy. And something that, if you are seriously considering applying for PhD scholarships, you need strategies. You need to follow certain stages, and this will help you. No matter how many applications you submit, I submit this year, I submitted more than 10, and I didn't stress out, to be honest, because I followed my structure, my way of my strategies. So once you have the strategies, once you know what to do, how to start, what the next step is, you'll be okay. You won't, freak out because of the deadlines, for example. Okay. And this course will also help you understand what and how to write a successful research proposal, personal statement, and CV. There are specific models for these 3 documents, okay? And I have also invited guests who have also secured more than one scholarships as well. So we know what we're talking about. You will also find constant support from me through the forum, through the community, from peers, and from the guests as well. Okay. who have obtained scholarships. And I think this whole process, the course, will help you feel more confident because we'll be analyzing high quality samples of research proposals, personal statements, CVs. I also share my own proposals, my own personal statements, and I analyze these documents as well. So it can help you write yours. Okay, so these are just some screenshots of the modules. All the modules, all the videos are captioned. So I wanted to make it really inclusive. And so if you miss something that I said or my guest said, you can check the captions. Okay. So this is, for example, we talk about reference letters, we talk about everything really, everything. Okay, and these are the modules. There are 6 modules, okay? And there are over 2 hours of video materials, actually, not 90 minutes. I counted properly, and there are over 2 hours of video materials, okay? Including videos with 2 guests who, as I said, who have obtained the scholarships as well. So we talk about the proposal and statements. I have a conversation with them about those 2 specific documents. As I've mentioned before, from my point of view, the research proposal and personal statements are the most important documents in your proposal. So I really focus on these 2 in the course. So you'll be tired of hearing research proposal, personal statement. We talk about them all the time. Okay. Well, the first module is the how to find scholarships, and I share more ways of finding scholarships as well. Second module, how to gather information and documents. I give more details on the other documents as well. Module 3 is how to choose the potential supervisors and how to contact them as well, because this is an important stage in your in the process, and how you can go about contacting them. What kind of things can you write in the email? I also share my emails, the emails that I wrote to contact them. Well, you have a module for the research proposal, a module for the personal statement, and preparing for the interview as well, of course. If you pass the first stages, you will be invited for an interview. And how do you get prepared? It's many applicants, they get extremely nervous for the interview, and I talk about this process. You shouldn't. I know it's easier said than done. It's you shouldn't be nervous, because actually they want you. You know, they don't want you to fail. They want you to do a great interview. So they are not the people who are interviewing you. They are not there to make you fail. So they want to support you. Once you understand that, I think you will feel more, hopefully, relaxed. But I talk about that in the module as well. Yes, and I think that's, oh, okay, more, there's more, sorry. There are some downloadables as well, some documents that you can analyze, you can download and print, checklists. I share a comprehensive list of PhD sources where you can find universities, programs. I also share my own, as I said, my own proposal, CV, my email as well. So you can feel inspired. And I also share an organization sheet for your process that you can use. Okay. There's a community as well for questions, and 2 group live sessions per month with me and the guests too. Ooh, I'm tired.
Fantastic. I mean, it just sounds like such a focused course, you know, for somebody
Yes.
who's looking to go in this direction.
Yes.
Bav has said, what, a niche course, possibly one of the first?
Yeah,
are you aware if there are other?
There are, yeah, I've checked, there are a few, yeah, but I think the other ones, the other ones that I saw, they are kind of they're not so focused, and I want mine to have guest speakers, for example, you know, not just from me, but from other people, bringing different perspectives as well. So because I'm sharing my experience, but my experience is not, you know, the right one or the universal one. So that's why I wanted to invite these 2 friends to talk as well. So yeah, I put huge effort and lots of and love as well, because this is the course that I really wanted to do in the past. You know, if I had something like this, like, oh my God, it's perfect, you know, all the structure and coming from, you know, someone who has gone through that. It's not like because you can find YouTube videos from people that you don't know who these people are, from professors, but I think coming from a person who has gone through a lot and who has insisted on applying, even though I had so many rejections. I think this was, you know, very special, and I really wanted to share with other people and tell them there is hope. There is hope, even if you have been rejected before. You can still get a scholarship.
And one question: when you are rejected, do they give you any sort of feedback that you can use?
No, just very few. They even write in the rejection letter, due to the huge amount of applications, we cannot give individual feedback. So some of them even say that they cannot give, but I got some feedback from one. When was that? Last year, I think, and they were very specific, which was great. And I worked on that this year. So, but yeah, it's very very rarely they do that. So you have to really analyze what you did and come up with that yourself. Yeah, why did I get rejected?
Okay. And another question, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this if you're the person to ask, but you mentioned kind of studying abroad and applying to different countries. If you get a scholarship, are you guaranteed a visa for that country for that period of time? Or is that a whole other process?
It's another process, but it shouldn't be an issue, because they will send you the offer, they will send you the all the information, you know, how much will be paid, how much, you know, what does the scholarship cover. So everything should meet the visa process. So it shouldn't be any problem, no, because they actually help applicants on the application as well. They give all the details, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Fabulous. I mean, after all this, can we ask what's your research going to be about when you start your course?
Yes. So I am going to analyze how peer peer observation works in EAP, in the EAP setting, and it depending on how things are, it could be online or face-to-face. And my research focus on how teachers see peer observation and feedback through the use of a video platform, and this and how they and whether they perceive any development as well through observing themselves on the platform, observing their peers, and how and whether this leads to their own development, their self-development.
Oh,
yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Excellent. I know we've got some EAP people in the group, so they'll probably be interested to hear the results and follow the research.
Great. Yeah, it would be great.
Excellent. And we had a message from Hugh. Good luck with your PhD program.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Start?
October now. I'm very excited. Very excited.
Moving and all that excitement as well.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Cecilia, thank you so much for coming along this morning. And
thank you, Teresa.
We've had a question.
Yeah.
Bhavna says, obviously you received three scholarships. What helped you decide which scholarship offer you'd accept?
Good question. Yes. I the first one I received was from Warwick, and I was really shocked because I thought I had failed that one, and because I had done my master's there, and because I love my supervisors, Dr. Steve Mann. He was my supervisor on the MA, my dissertation, and he will be my supervisor now. So it was kind of a given. Like there's no way. And I know I have friends there who are at Warwick. I actually consider going to Australia for a day, and then I spoke to a friend who lives in Australia, and talk about, tell me what you think of the universities there, and then I changed my mind based on what she said. So so it was a kind of an easy choice, And I wanted to go back to the UK. It's closer to, because I'm from Brazil, so if I want to see my family, it would be much closer than going to Australia, for example. But yeah, and the last one I received was from Dublin. By that time I had already accepted the offer from Warwick. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, Warwick, I'm very lucky to have you back again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. So if anyone else does have any more questions for Cecilia, pop them in the chat.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a really exciting course. Says congratulations on your course. Good luck for your research.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you.
And keep us posted on how it's going, and if you ever want to come and tell us how the research is going and what you discovered, that would be
I can share that later. Yes. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Teresa. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.